The following is brought to you by Stephen Terry Pest Elimination. If it's scary, call Stephen Terry at 713-477-0047.
You're listening to the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast.
What smells so bad?
It's strong, but you'll get used to it. Now, here are your hosts, Nick Stevenson and Naomi Richardson.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, whatever time of day it is, wherever you may be listening in the world. Welcome to episode 42 of the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast. Coming to you from the Stephen Terry Pest Elimination Studio in Deer Park, Texas. I'm your gracious and humble host, Nick Stevenson. The queen of podcasts, Naomi Richardson, is in the building.
Yo, yo.
I got my man Josh Beard on the ones and twos.
What it do?
And ladies and gentlemen, we have a local podcast icon in the studio. Mr. Ozeal DeBastos. I got to get my good Latino voice in on there. Mr. Ozeal is a man of many hats. Before I go through your bio, I want to ask you, does it make you mad when you see people on the radio or in news, whenever they're talking to somebody Latino, they'll be like, they'll be talking normal, and then all of a sudden they turn into like Antonio Banderas when they get to the name. And I was worried I was going to do that because I didn't want to be like, hey, everybody, my name's Nick Stevenson, and my special guest is Ozeal DeBastos.
It's like Giada, you know? She like speaks
Right.
and then like mozzarella. And I'm like, girl, it's just mozzarella, okay?
Oh my goodness. But no, Ozeal, I'm so happy that you're here, sir. Thank you so much for being here.
Bro.
It's been a long time coming, man. So
Long time.
glad you're finally here. If you're in the podcast world, especially in Houston, you know who Ozeal is. Like, he needs no introduction. But to any of the laid people, Mr. Ozeal DeBastos is the creator of Ozeal Media. He is also the creator of Pod Houston, which is a local podcast networking community. And he has recently started Podcast Influence Academy, which is a mastermind class for creators.
Very cool.
Very, very cool. And he's the former host of the No Permission Needed podcast. So in the world of podcasting, this is the guru. He's the man. He's the guy you need to know, especially in the city of Houston. So thank you so much for blessing us by joining our little contraption here. It's good to be here, man.
Yeah, it's great to be here. And
Our
what a
good to have you here.
great introduction, man.
Thank you.
I mean, this man has the voice.
Oh, I know it.
Look,
I know it. We just follow suit and just keep our fingers crossed.
We're just here. Oh, you're doing a great job too. Now.
No. So one of the things is that I'm gonna give some credit to my former co-host who's not here because he used to say the same thing, and if it weren't for him, I'd probably just be sitting in my shower or in the mirror doing this voice and not really putting it to good use. But somebody was like, man, you need to be in radio or you need to be in podcasts. And eventually, finally, 30-something years into my life, I decided, let's do it. But I'm really excited about you being here, man. I told you at the end of this show, since you're the podcast guru, I want you to give us a little podcast grade. But we're going to get the...
Nervous.
Yeah,
I'm a little nervous, too. We'll see. Because I know we'll get into it a little bit later. I know I've listened to your advice all the time. I've watched you. And a lot of advice you give to podcasters, I'm like, yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that. And then you'll say a couple things, and I'm like, ugh.
we definitely do that.
Oops. But no, man, I'm so glad you're here. You came all the way from Sugar Land, man. And like, this dude's not being paid to do this. This is his passion. This is what he does. So I'm so thankful that you're here, man. What we want to do is put you in our element after we get, we're going to let everybody get to know you. But we just kind of sit here and we chill, man. We kick it.
Just hang out.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That's what we do.
So, let's see. I'll tell you what. Let's get into headlines and chop it up a little bit, and then we'll getting to know our man, Mr. Ozeal DeBastos.
Headlines.
All right. Y'all remember that show, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, back in the day? Sometime in the 90s with Melissa Joan Hart?
Yeah.
An Oklahoma woman rented a VHS tape of the then-hit sitcom, and now 2 decades later, that VHS tape has come back to haunt her. After her failure to return it ended up branding her record with felony embezzlement charges.
What?
She was notified at the Texas DMV after trying to get her name changed to her married name, and they explained she had an issue The woman claims over the past 2 decades she was let go from several jobs with no reason given. Now she's assuming that the felony embezzlement charges on her background checks may have had something to do with it.
Blockbuster ain't playing around, bro.
And the store that she rented these, which was not Blockbuster, has already closed. So good news is the court ordered that the charges be dropped and her record be expunged.
That's very sensible.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That makes sense.
I'm pretty sure I've got some overdue movies for sure.
Don't ask me about Redbox.
Yeah. Ford will be temporarily shutting down production of the Mustang. The reason? There aren't enough semiconductor chips to power all that flashy new technology in these cars. The problem has been going on for months now, with GM having to cease production of several vehicles, most notably the Chevy Camaro, Dodge Charger, and Challenger, as well as the Chrysler 300. Ford has actually been selling the F-150 without the fuel management module as a way to cut back how many semiconductor chips it uses. So be checking on them F-150s you got there.
Camaro, bitches.
Fortunately, that should also be resolved here soon. So we've got good stuff going on here. Here locally, the Lynchburg Ferry is finally up and running again. Yay! That thing has been out of commission since February of last year, and if you live and work over here or over there in Highlands or on the other side of the channel, you know that is a big deal and it is a huge headache. So now, drive free.
Yes, drug deals may resume now.
The stock price of government contractor Emergent Biosolutions has fallen sharply since the production problems at the firm's plant in Baltimore, after the firm's plant in Baltimore ruined 15 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson coronavirus vaccine. Since then, AstraZeneca has also moved production of its own vaccine out of the facility, and Emergent temporarily halted new production there altogether. Emergent stock has fallen just more than 50%, but the decline has had less of an impact than it normally might have had on the personal finances of Emergent's chief executive, Robert Kramer, who so conveniently sold more than $10 million worth of his stock in the company in only weeks prior to the production snafu. Based on the market price, the stocks that Kramer sold would now fetch about $5.5 million. It's a nice little way to pad your pockets there. I hate
My
that.
goodness.
We in the wrong
Yeah,
business.
Rich people don't go broke the way
Nope.
we go broke.
No, they don't.
That's crazy.
No, they don't. In conclusion, the Rockets still suck. The Texans still suck. Hopefully that draft will maybe cause or solve some problems. The Cowboys will always suck. And the Astros are still the 2017 world champions.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Yo.
Okay. That's fantastic. There's no really good sports stories to go.
No, there's a lot of things up in the air right now.
Yeah. That's cool. Like I said, if anything else fails, the Rockets suck, Texans suck, unfortunately. Cowboys suck. Astros will hopefully be 2021 World Series champions.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty.
Yes, sir.
Hey, at least our quarterback is not in, any kind of heat or anything.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Rub it
Alrighty. Let's see. The headline, okay, the VHS tape. That's just funny. Little
is
side
crazy.
note, Melissa Joan Hart gave birth to her child in the same hospital that my daughter was born in, just a few days prior.
Oh.
So y'all are
Wow.
connected? Is that
Yeah, I met Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That was
in
kind
the
of
elevator? Must
Yeah.
cute.
No.
I
And,
only watched the show for the little cat.
Yes.
The white
What was
talking
the
cat?
comedian's name? Who was the cat?
I have no idea. I was a baby.
Oh, he's a really funny guy.
It's not Eddie Murphy, so.
No, it's not Eddie Murphy. All right, and the Lynchburg Ferry being open, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
I know I joked about drug deals going down on it, but
But
it's
they
a big
really
deal. Yes, they do. I've witnessed. So, but that is a big deal because a lot of people use that to get to and from work. It's a nice relaxing way to get to Baytown rather than sitting in traffic
Yeah.
on 225.
Yep.
Ugh.
Going 3:30.
All right. Thank you. That was Headlines, and Headlines, as always, is brought to you. Today, it's brought to you by Amity Innovations. So let's get an ad for Amity before we get into our main topic.
Hey guys, this is Naomi, and I want to talk to you about Amity Innovations. If you're looking to remodel your home, or maybe you're just looking to build a new home, don't make any decisions until you talk to the experts at Amity Innovations. They specialize in alternative energy sources like backup generators, whole home solar systems, and geothermal heating and cooling systems, which would have really come in handy these past couple of weeks. In other words, they create green homes. I'm talking net zero energy to nearly fully self-sufficient homes. Amity Innovations even believes that in our future, our homes will actually produce more energy than they use. Now, wouldn't that be something? Amity Innovations is not your typical construction company, although they have been in business for over 25 years. They know what they are doing, and they want to help you save both the planet and your bank account. So give Amity Innovations a call at 832-331-3580 or go to www.amitybgi.com to get a free estimate. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, call the green builders you can trust. Amity Innovations, where we create the difference.
Alrighty. Yeah, you guys give Amity Innovations a call and make sure you let them know that the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast sent you. If you need a generator, which we discovered that is very important to have a generator, make sure you guys go see them and let them know we sent you, because they're going to hook you up. And I'll be honest with you, they're going to hook us up too. So make that happen. Really quick, I did want to do another podcast shout out before we got into talking to Ozeal. It's actually a mutual friend of ours, Ms. Janu Alicia. She has a podcast called Ranting Through Life Hacks for the Creative Soul. I know that's near and dear to you because you're all about the creatives. And she runs a very good podcast. I give her so much credit because she does it by herself. And she brings in guests from time to time, but she's all about encouraging creators to let their creativeness out.
I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Yeah, she's really good. She's like I said, she's always doing a lot of different things. She's been in theater before. She's really into just anything that's art and creative. So it's a really good listen. You guys go check it out. It's on all of your major listening platforms. There's even an episode with my man Ozeal. Ozeal got to her first, which made me a little bit jealous. But he's finally here, so we're happy about that. Let's really quick what we learned from last week. We learned that Naomi has a vavavavoom Instagram. You guys go check out last week's episode.
She needs some more followers.
She definitely needs some more followers.
I'm hot. It's hot in here.
You won't be disappointed if you go check it out. Like, that's for sure.
I feel like we need to have that art in here to really bring in. I feel like we all
Naomi has a vavavavoom.
I'm embarrassed.
I learned that Josh still does not know how to say her name. Spell your name and then pronounce it for Josh, please.
Naomi.
And pronounced?
Naomi.
You always say Naomi. Go back and listen.
Everyone has always said Naomi my entire life.
The only I is at the end of your name, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then, once again, Khan's not here to defend himself, but that dude definitely shaves his ass. Definitely.
You gotta keep that tat looking good.
I feel like we need.
I watched that video too. That he's the Gunther man.
Oh
Did you
my
watch?
god! So I played it, and all I hear is my wife go, "Oh, I know who that is."
All right. let's not have too many inside jokes for our guests. But all right, Mr. Ozeal, thank you so much once again for being here. Today we're gonna make the title of our show "Turning Your Passion into Profit." That is your thing. That is what you're about.
That is, man. Indeed.
Yeah. So let's get started with a couple of things here. I mentioned your bio. Ozeal Media is an LLC. What exactly does that encompass with Ozeal Media?
Right. So Ozeal Media was started in early 2020, and it's a podcast consulting agency / production. So we do a lot of the one-on-one coaching where we're mentoring brands and businesses on how to launch and grow their podcasts, but also provide back-end services like audio editing.
Okay.
Nice.
All these graphic designs, etc.
We're going to have to talk, brother. We're going to have to talk.
Yeah, man.
For sure. But yeah, no, I mean, you've got your hand all in the podcast industry, and especially in the city of Houston. I'm so thankful for people like you because you've brought others together. And we're going to talk about that, how it all started a little bit. And then I want you to be able to talk about your message and what you want the people to know about the business of podcasting and about the business of being a creator. We grew up in a time, you being a creator, that people always said you have to have a real job, right?
Right.
You
all
can't.
the time.
What's
hate
your
hearing
but
that.
what's your
to
real,
this day,
to
I
this
still
day-
have people be like, so mom is like, what do you do now again?
Thanks,
Right.
Mom.
This podcast.
Right. What they don't understand, though, is we're the future. And we're going to get into that because a robot can't host a podcast for you, but it can do a lot of other things for you. So, we'll get into that. But let's talk about Ozeal DeBastos before he became the podcast guru. You had a background actually in music. That was your creative outlet, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So what type of music was and is Ozeal into, and what were you most passionate about, and whose style did you emulate?
Oh man! So the first band was an alternative funk band. So
Okay.
it was like
right.
Rage Against the Machine and mixed with like Incubus.
Right,
Chili Peppers was really into the whole alternative funk.
Hello.
Yes, alternative sound.
Good
and
stuff.
then so from there, transitioned into a live hip hop funk band. So went more funky. We went funky with it, you know. So so I did that for actually the bulk of my 20s. And I was I was just I grew up listening to anything from Def Leppard to Metallica to hip hop and Tribe Called Quest and Wu-Tang, etc. So I had a nice eclectic mix.
Yeah, for sure.
So we would always mix it up in our music.
Hip hop and rock go so good together.
So good.
People, it's
a lot
so
of
underrated.
similarities. So
Yes.
underrated. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very underrated genre for sure. So, you of all those people though, like when you, because you were a performer, you were the front man for your band. So, whose style would you say you emulated when you were on stage? Like who were you trying to channel?
Man, Zach de la Rocha. I have to say it like Spanish. Zach de la
De
Rocha.
De La Rocha.
From Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just high energy and
high
in your
energy,
face.
in your face, jump, really being passionate about delivering the message.
Yeah.
And I was that guy who was definitely channeling, that energy into the hip hop world.
Do we got some video of that?
Killing in the Name.
We do. There's a
Yes.
YouTube video.
It's there.
Yeah,
You gotta compare.
I was gonna send that to you, and I don't think it's Zach-ish, but it's.
Hey
quite
man,
energetic.
it's cool. I actually performed that song with my band, Killing in the Name.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite songs
Yeah,
to perform because you're just in
Yeah,
your
you're
face
into
in
it.
the
Yeah.
mic. It was really fun. So
Yeah.
that's
the name
funny.
of your band was Killing in the Name?
No, that was the name of the song.
well, I know
we
that,
were
but
we
I
were
was
Apollo's
like-
Fall.
Apollo's fault.
Killing in the Name would be a good cover band
well,
name.
I think there is a
There is
tribute band called that, and I was like,
Oh, is there?
I've seen them. I didn't know I was seeing you. But okay, never mind.
That guy had hair. There's no way that
I was
was
about
you.
to say that was a long time ago. So
Yeah, no. So, but you were passionate about the music, and when I've listened to some of your interviews before, that's really what stuck out to me. That's why I wanted to get into that. So, what was it that you loved about music and performing, and what was it that you didn't like?
Just the crowd, man, the interaction that you would have with the people. There's a whole different high of being on stage and having people lose themselves and just have fun and be in that moment. So when we go to concerts and we see people holding their camera and videotaping, I'm not sure if you guys do that, but when I see that, I have to just shake my head because back in the days, people went to live concerts to be in the moment.
Absolutely.
You're not recording it and watching it. I mean, the whole moment, whole thing of going to a live event is to be able to experience the distortion, the vocals, the energy, and singing along,
I
not
like this guy.
taking your time to hold up a
people.
camera,
Yeah.
man.
Yes.
So
100%.
just the energy.
man, I miss shows. I haven't been to a show in so long.
Fuck you, COVID.
I'm going to my first show next month.
Oh, right on.
The my buddy's band that plays at Scout Bar. They're coming back,
Okay.
and so.
Yeah. Cool.
Scout Bar has been packed
Man,
this whole time.
they-
yeah, they
really
don't care.
Yeah.
They had
They've been
Riff
around
Raff
for a
like 2 weeks ago, and it was shoulder to shoulder.
Really?
Yeah, they have not cared.
Shout out to Scout Bar. They've been in the game for a minute. We did a show
They
at
have.
Scout Bar.
Did
Yeah.
you?
We sure
Oh,
did.
Yeah.
I never got
Yeah.
into Scout Bar. I wanted to.
Yeah.
We always used to go to Scout Board. That was before we had kids.
Right.
And, so now.
No, I used to be there all the time, but I never performed there. Yeah, shout out to them.
yeah.
They've had legends there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Bone Thugs has
Vanilla
been there.
Ice.
Yeah. Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and so
I remember that show, actually. A friend of mine invited me. You want to go see Vanilla? I'm like, nah, bro.
Come on, man. You didn't go?
I did buy the cassette,
I thought you were gonna tell me you went and you
bought
shaved
it.
the lightning bolt in your head and everything.
The eyebrow. Yeah. No.
Eraser.
Oh,
hair.
man.
Right, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my
So what was
gosh.
it? What was tough about music? Because at some point your passion began to shift. So what was it about music that made you say maybe I'm gonna have to start going a different way?
Being underpaid, man.
Yeah.
So
the
many,
truth.
so many local artists, going to venues. I remember packing the venue, Fitzgerald's and all these local venues here in Houston.
R.I.P.
And R.I.P.
God.
Fitzgerald.
That hit me right in the soul.
That broke my heart.
Yeah.
Fitzgerald's in the Meridian.
Meridian,
my
there's
favorite,
another one.
yep.
Yeah.
I love the Meridian. They had a skate park in the back.
And Numbers is another,
Numbers is a good
Numbers
one.
was good.
I'm not sure if they're still open or not, but These are all the
I don't
iconic
know.
venues.
These places are all
I mean, they're
closed,
all
man.
like, it just
I think
unfortunate.
Numbers has changed to something else though.
Okay.
Warehouse
the
is open.
building's still
Warehouse
there.
Live. Yeah,
I
did a
thought
lot of
Warehouse
shows.
Live closed too.
Nope, they're open.
Are they?
Yeah, they've been. At
I think
it
they
for
got
quite
some grants
time.
too to kind of help them out a little
Okay.
bit.
But you wasn't
White
get-
Oak Music Hall is
Oh,
going.
okay. Okay. So you weren't getting the bag you were looking for.
No,
though.
man, we would pack it up, and the venue owners were just like, okay, bring it in. You want to play here? You got to bring people
Right.
in here, and then we would bring the people, and then sometimes they wouldn't even pay us, or they'll just say, we'll just give you a couple of beers, on the house, and that was it. And at that time, we were so excited to perform at these venues that we had no business. I was the head guy
Right.
and trying to handle everything.
You just wanted people to see you.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
But and I think after a while we did it for the love of music, but then after a while we got burned out. There was always internal band drama, and then you're trying to.
If you watch any good band biopic, there's
Oh.
always that one guy who's pissed off that they're not getting paid.
yeah.
Man, fuck this, and then he leaves, and then they blow up. Every single one. Yeah, man.
But we
but-
stuck it out, man.
Yeah, that's good, man. So you start to, while you're in the music or while you're doing music, when we talked before, you told me you started getting into the promotion and getting your guys' brand out there, and you noticed that you had a niche for that. So talk a little bit more about that and how that began to translate to your next move after you decided you weren't going to be a rock star anymore.
Yeah, because I started seeing other independent, local musicians get paid, and I was like, there's something here. I really need to develop this business acumen if we want to be successful. And that was unfortunately towards the end of the band years.
Right.
But I really started learning about marketing and what it takes to promote yourself and market, guerrilla marketing on the streets and flyers, and then booking our own shows, asking for, after a while, I was like, cool, we'll sell tickets, but we want 50%. So I started getting really into the business aspect of music, and we started making some money towards the end, but I just fell in love with it, man. And I saw other independent musicians in our camp, in our circle, struggle so much, and really talented local musicians and bands, man. But I really want to help them out, and the more I learned, I just wanted to pass it along. And I think that's where the teacher became a thing. I really want to teach other independent musicians to get their
So
business
how do you
game up.
go from being a badass rock star? Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. How do you go from that to podcasting? Wah, wah, wah.
You speak for yourself. Podcast rock star.
There you go. That's right. I'm the podfather right now in Houston, man. What are you talking about, bro?
Talk about, baby, give me some. Hell yeah.
Come on, man.
No, man, but
I
that's
feel you. That's what you're
that's
saying.
not a there's not a whole lot of in those biopics. Not a lot of guys quit and decided to be a podcaster, maybe a DJ. But
Do podcasters
What-
have groupies? We should get some groupies.
we probably should.
I'm sure Joe Rogan has a few
The
groupies
Spirit
and,
Sniffers is kind of our groupie page. No, but so because you realize, okay, I want to help these musicians
Yeah.
with getting their brand out there, branding themselves, making money, turning their passion into profit. And you had a lot of different avenues you could go to. So what was it about podcasting that made you say, because this is what, we're talking 2013, 2014 at this time?
Yeah.
Yeah, like everybody and their mom has a podcast now. But
Right.
but back then, what gave you the foresight to say, hey, I think podcasting might be the way I can get my message out?
It was the closest thing to kind of pick up a mic and be able to express myself.
Yeah.
So even prior to getting in, to music, I always wanted to be like an MTV VJ.
Yeah, that's fun.
I wanted to, I was always curious about interviewing celebrities and just having all these guests and having these amazing conversations. So when I was introduced to podcasting, I was listening to a lot of business marketing oriented podcasts because I wanted to learn more about business and building an online platform.
Right.
So after that, I started the podcast to help creative people learn about the business principles. And that was the beginning. But to answer your question, man, I just wanted to get behind the mic.
Yes.
And I felt like the podcast is your stage.
That's why I'm sitting here.
You're the MC. There you go. You're the MC.
It's
This
the
is your
close.
stage.
We couldn't be rock. Exactly. We couldn't be rock stars. This is like the closest we could get. If you could have people in here cheering while you're talking, then it would be equal.
and get this, Nick. This is the beauty about podcasting is that once you hit that publish button, at a click of a button, you're getting global distribution. So
Yes.
now you guys have access to be heard on all platforms all over the world.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's something about with music when you're creating something, say, here, I made this, and you're building community and that audience, that fan base. Now we have the opportunity to do the same thing simply by recording our thoughts and ideas and sharing it,
Yeah.
and then connecting with people that believe the things that we do and like our vibe. So
That's
powerful, man.
Yeah, that's very true. And I didn't think about the fact that that's how I felt about podcasting until I listened to you have an interview. When you said I was a musician, I loved performing, and something about sitting in front of the microphone, and I was like, I feel him. Like that is exactly. You feel like you got something to say, whether it's musically, because I used to write my own music too.
Musician. Yeah.
Yeah, or whether it's, you have something to say, you want people to hear it. And the cool thing about this cool thing called the interwebs is now you can start your own stuff, and you like you said, you build a community. So I didn't make that correlation until I heard you say it, but it makes perfect sense. So in 2014, you start a podcast, and it's entitled No Permission Needed. And so what was the vibe for No Permission Needed? Who was your, because I know you said you got to have a niche audience. You got to have a niche. Who was your niche audience for the No Permission Needed podcast?
So No Permission Needed was inspired. It was a declaration. No permission needed, helping creatives give themselves permission to do the damn thing,
Right.
to be able to create and create, and take their passion into profit. And I wanted to help creatives, independent musicians, painters, artists of all kinds, and then again, helping them out.
Yep.
And so I would interview some of the top people in the marketing business game and people that I never would have access to. Next thing you know, and I'm reaching out and saying, hey, listen, I have a podcast because I really want to help creative entrepreneurs. Would you be interested in being on the show? And they would all say yes. And I had some pretty heavy hitters on the show right out the gate, which really helped swing the show into popularity in the beginning.
Yeah,
with
for
iTunes.
sure.
So yeah, man, that was kind of the inspiration behind it.
Excellent.
Cool. So when you're doing this, now you're, because podcasting, it is different. And I'm going to ask you later how you would compare the two. But while you're doing this, like you're kind of new to the podcast game, but you're in that teacher role. But so who was your Ozeal DeBastos when you were coming up in the podcast game?
So there was this guy named, actually still in the game. His name is Andrew Warner. He has a podcast called Mixergy.
Okay.
And he is still, and as a matter of fact, he was one of the first podcasters, I think about 3 years ago, that did a subscription-based service for exclusive content. Now Apple and Spotify are doing that now.
Yes, they are.
But before that, this guy was actually getting paid and monetizing his podcast in a big way 3 years ago. So he's an OG, and he was somebody who I really look up to, and such a really great interviewer, which is something that I really, as a podcaster, none of us. Did you guys go to broadcasting school?
No.
No.
Did you learn like
Not at
audio
all.
engineering? Not really. See,
I barely went to school.
so here's the thing. Just even like being in the room with you guys, like, Josh is doing this thing. He's obviously knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And you guys are like natural. Like people don't know when they go to podcasting, what makes, and I know I'm jumping here, but people always ask me what makes a podcast great. And to me is the personalities behind the microphone, but really understanding a sense of broadcasting. A lot of us didn't go to broadcasting school. Nobody has formal training, but I think if you pay attention to the Howard Sterns of the world and the people that do radio, right? We can take that and adopt that and bring that into podcasting.
Right.
So you guys do a fantastic job of making this professional, of incorporating video. The live reads and the headlines, amazing
thank
job.
you.
Like just watching you.
Thank you.
You're pros.
Yeah.
I'm
trying.
giving you an early grade here, man.
We got the sign off right there, man. We're Nick. We're already done.
So I mean, anyway, so you guys are awesome.
No, I
Yeah, man.
appreciate that.
Much respect.
And I will be the first person to admit, because people ask, well, what podcast do you listen to? To be honest with you, before I started this, I didn't listen to a lot of podcasts, but I did have a lot of radio host inspiration.
Yeah.
People like Howard Stern.
I could
I
tell.
used to listen to Jim Rome all the time, and he's an OG in the game. Old school DJs like Rick Dees, and even here locally Sam Malone. Like I paid attention to those guys and the stuff that they did. And then
It's a lot of Casey Kasem.
Some
courtesy
Casey
of my
Kasem.
mom.
yeah,
He just had that voice,
That's
and
another
be
one.
like,
yeah,
every
that's
Sunday.
another one. And also sports broadcasters.
Timeless.
Yeah, also sports broadcasters like
Like not Joe Buck?
Yeah,
Not Joe Buck.
Buck.
His name is escaping me for the Dodgers.
Oh man. Oh,
I'm gonna be really mad at myself when I listen back to this.
you are, because you're gonna be like, I know who it is. I know who it is.
Vin Scully.
There
Vin
you go.
Scully.
Vin Scully,
Yeah, even him, like just the golden pipes on that man. So I drew a lot of inspiration from that. So that's what I was curious who your Ozeal was.
Yeah.
And that's cool. What's the best constructive criticism you ever got about your podcast when you were coming up?
That's a good question.
That's a good
Great
one.
question, man.
He's so
Gee.
calm. He's so proud. Yes.
I put some forethought in the interview.
man.
I listened to this man and his advice on interviews,
Yeah.
man. Like
Thanks,
you give wonderful advice on interviews. You've helped me become a better interviewer. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, what was some good? What are you passing on that you learned from your mentors? What was the best constructive criticism you got? I mean, you can tell me your podcast was perfect and nobody had nothing.
Not at all. It's far from it. It took me some time, and as you know, we're always learning.
Yes.
So this is the beautiful thing about this medium.
Yeah.
Man, I think the best advice that I got in regards to interviewing, because I was so passionate about it, somebody says, don't be afraid, embrace the pause. Don't be afraid of the silence. That you don't have to fill every end of what somebody
Why are you
says.
looking at me? Why are you looking at
I'm
me?
so glad he came on the show today. I'm just,
Hey, what I tell you? I
he's
take
blown me away
constructive-
for the last whatever minute we've been
My
in here
man.
doing this.
So kind of like in a different direction, but you know, I'm a graphic designer. So in the graphic design world, people are like, appreciate the white space. Use the white space.
it.
The whole page does not have to be filled with graphics and stuff. Like use
Beautiful.
that
Yeah.
emptiness.
Same.
It's there for a reason.
Same applies to
I like
interviewing.
it.
I appreciate a good pause, as long as it is not too long. Me and him edit together, and if
Yeah.
there's any dead space, I'm like, yeah, you need to like, cut that in
Delete
half.
it. Delete it. Not delete it.
And in radio, that's huge. I mean, they call it dead
Yeah,
air, right?
right.
And they would say, hey, listen, don't do that but with
That's money.
podcasting, because it's such an intimate platform that I think even radio didn't have.
Right.
Right. Radio's just like boom, 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 right? Ads,
Yeah.
Song, back at it. But with podcasting, like it's a conversational platform that people expected, that pausing, there's something about it that allows you to kind of process it, think. And I think that's the reason why it's such an intimate platform, because it sticks with you deeper than radio
Okay.
does.
Well, and it could be
I
there's
still
so much
say if
emotion.
it's longer than 3 seconds, we're cutting.
You're
it.
ready to go, right?
Going off what he said is there could be so much emotion on that pause.
That's it.
Like when we've had when our first episode when Chris was doing his rant, those pauses, you could tell that he was
No, absolutely.
Man.
definitely into. I was just like,
the air got heavy when he stopped talking. I was like,
For
oh,
sure.
here it
I was
comes.
what?
And see, in some of those pauses, most of the pauses I left. It was the
Yeah.
really long ones that, yeah, and you could like hear him breathing in the background. I'm like, because here's the thing.
That hype gorilla.
I'm more like on Ozeal, what we do, and I don't want to. We'll get back on topic. In what we do is on our video, we leave that's raw, that's uncut. If you want to watch us mess up and say 500 times, like watch the video. The audio side, I don't get to dazzle them with the cute little bells and whistles that I get to dazzle them with on the video. They're just listening.
They are.
So it needs to be pleasant to listen to. So in my opinion, when I put out our audio, I want it to be a very pristine edit. If somebody's burps in the microphone, like, yeah, I'm gonna cut that out. Or that hasn't happened yet. Hasn't happened yet. But and so I try to put a really clean edit on that. But I'm surprised they didn't tell you that I was being like a drill sergeant before you came in here. Because I'm
You're
gonna be honest
always
with
a
you.
drill sergeant.
You were like the most highly anticipated guest I've had since Rose the Hypnotist, or Josh would call her the psychic. So I was like,
Wow.
yeah, but no, we were really looking forward to you coming here. And we were looking forward to your constructive criticism. So I was just curious what it was you had to work on when you were early in the game. So you didn't just rest your laurels at podcasts, though. You decided that you wanted to do more than just do a podcast. And I want to talk about how you started to build the community. Now, before it was Pod Houston, it was called Beginner Podcast.
Correct, yeah.
And this is in 2017. Now, what made you decide that you wanted to join together with other people with the same passion for podcasting and start a new community?
I've always been big on community, whether I was a musician trying to connect with my audience. Remember MySpace?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
back in the
Yeah.
MySpace days. Yeah. Our band had that.
You could play your own crappy music at the beginning.
That's right. You used to hate that. Like, turn that off, man. Come on, right here. But yeah, so I was building communities on MySpace and on different blog forums, and then from there, there was a great blogging community here in Houston, and there were different little subgroups. But I was like, where are the podcasters at? And when I did a search, I didn't know. I wanted to connect with local podcasters. Yeah. So I went on meetup.com. And initially, it was to help people like start their own podcast. I call it beginner podcasts,
right?
Because it's like many people don't, they're just starting off or whatnot. And to my own surprise, it was like 20 people showed up at a cafe in Houston, Cafe Brazil, and some of them were intermediate podcasters. And they were like, "Oh, listen, we're really excited to be a part of this because we didn't know that there were other podcasters out here in this community." So we met up. And they were like, well, we want to do this again. When can we meet up again? And from there transpired Pod Houston, which got rebranded. And then we started doing monthly events where I would bring in different speakers and we would talk about branding and marketing your podcast and then making it very educational / community oriented where we can support them as well.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And before COVID, you guys were doing this
we're rocking
in person.
In person.
In person.
Yes.
I'm looking
we're
forward.
Like giving each other hugs and
right. I hope you guys can bring that back, man. Because I've met a lot of really cool people in the Pod Houston group. Man. And you said you started with 20 people in a cafe, and you told me yesterday y'all have 2,000 people on your email list.
Wow, that's
so,
awesome.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, and what's cool about it is I still feel like I'm still like in it, kind of the beginning stage still. Like when there's 10 million people in the group, I'll be like, I was there when there was 2,000.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I'm an OG.
I'm an OG.
So, but it is really cool, and I've met some awesome people there. What's cool about the community is I've seen it happen so many times. Number one, whenever you join, we're talking about the social media part of it. When you join the social media group, Ozeal will make a post every week naming the new people who've joined and like, hey, let's welcome these people into the community. And I've joined I told him yesterday, I joined a lot of podcast groups that as soon as I went in there, they never said a word to me. And if I posted the wrong thing one time, boop, like you're kicked off. But I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do that. Like you didn't even say anything. They just kick you straight out. But Pod Houston is such an awesome group of people. My buddy Dustin Kane, he does a podcast here in Deer Park as well, the Barbarically Candid podcast. He's also a part of Pod Houston. So it's a really cool group, and it's an idea that I thought to myself, I want a podcast, and I never even considered that maybe there was a network group of more podcasters. So the fact that you came up with that idea on your own, it hadn't existed yet, and you decided, I'm going to create this. I think that's awesome. So you said in 2017 you start that. Now you met people on Meetup, which I thought Meetup was a dating site until you said this yesterday. Like, no lie.
Me too. Me too. I was like,
You can meet up for anything. They've
Okay,
got all kinds of stuff
I thought it
meetups.
was a dating site.
I did meetups for like WordPress.
Yeah,
that's right,
that's
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Is that for your Instagram page?
For my website.
So now that you
My
got,
OnlyFans.
Oh,
so once you got this community,
we're going to put that on the screen now, Nick. Naomi's
There is
OnlyFans.
no OnlyFans.
can we? I just need to get. We'll put that ad on the YouTube page so we can get the views, and then
Yeah. So if you're listening to this
Gotcha.
now, go back to the YouTube. It will show you.
no,
what it
but
is.
so once again, you didn't rest your laurels of just putting this group together. Now you wanted to put your money where your mouth is, and you began turning your passion into profit. So I want to talk about Podcast Influence Academy, which started as Pod Houston Insiders, right? Okay, so that's your master class. I want to know where you came up with the idea and what gave you the sense that there was a market that people would actually invest money into. I guess into your knowledge and what you know and how you can help them in their brand.
That's a great question. So I was doing a lot of one-on-one coaching, helping people start their podcast, right? So it's like a 8-week program. And then after that, they're like, okay, this is great. I have my podcast, but I still need to be motivated to show up. And, we know this podcasting could be a lonely road. It's just you and the mic and your truth.
Right.
Right. It's just you. And after a while, and you guys know that it's a lot of work.
Yes.
So accountability and that support and that mindset, and then you're growing, and then you start looking that the podcast isn't growing, in download numbers, and then next thing you know, the imposter syndrome. So what I started discovering, guys, is that, with podcasting, there's one part of just publishing and getting the content out there, but there was another part that was heavily like mindset. That, when you're creating, you need that accountability and that support. So I created Podcast Influence Academy to keep people motivated, accountable, have them feel supported on a monthly basis. So we
Right.
have 2 events. So one of them is I have a speaker that comes in virtually that talks about branding, and I invite other people from like Squadcast and Lipson and some of the people in the podcasting space.
Right.
And they're sharing their knowledge. And then the other week, in every other 2 weeks, we meet up and we have accountability sessions where we're talking about, hey, what's your biggest struggle? You know, what's happening? What can I hold you accountable? And a lot of them are saying, hey, listen, I just want to quit, or I don't feel like, you know, life is happening. I have a wife and kids, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. And, you know, we help them kind of get through that hurdle. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of just accountability and support. So-
I was there before these guys came along, and I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you, being a part of the Pod Houston group and seeing you guys, seeing your posts and looking at guys doing lives, and you that kept me invested in the game too. So I will let you know that
Yeah.
what you intended it to do, it did. Now I am currently not a member of the Podcast Influence Academy, but we talked about it. Like that's gonna be a thing. We'll change that. Like I would love to be a part of that, and hopefully all of us can. That'd be great. But you actually answered my next question. I was gonna ask you what the benefits are, but I mean that's it right there. You talked about it. I mean, podcasting does become a lonely road, and there's so many people, and I want to emphasize this because so many people ask me, oh man, I want a podcast. And that's how I felt when Chris Kahn had a podcast. I was like, ooh, I can do that. I want to do that.
Yeah.
And it is fun. On recording day, it's super fun. What we're doing right now, this is hella fun. Everything else is kind of not fun. It can be. Like, I do enjoy editing sometimes. Sometimes I don't enjoy editing. Like, but it's work. And it's something that you got to be committed to, especially if you want to be successful. One of the biggest things I took away from you before I started listening to your advice, we would just record whenever we could, put out an episode whenever we could. We didn't have any consistency to it. And not only was it you, but my wife was like, you got to figure, like, because I'd be like, I think I'll record today. No, we have this, and this to do. So my wife told me, like, you guys got to get on a schedule. And I'll give her credit for that because she put us on a schedule. And right now, you know, this is our 3rd season in. We're 5 episodes in. Like, we have a system, and it's working. And so that's very important, and that's really good advice to give. And I'm glad you're supporting one another. And guys, if you're podcasting and you want to quit, don't quit. Don't quit. Maybe take a week off, but don't quit. Like I almost quit in 2020, and I'm glad that I didn't, because now I got the most awesome lady host in the business.
Look at that.
I got my
that.
and I got my producer Josh, and I got Ozeal DeBastos to come on our freaking show. If I had quit last year, that wouldn't have happened.
That's right.
So
I like what you said though, Nick. Is all of us, everyone on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, sees the fun that we have, but doesn't realize the work that we're putting in behind it. We're having these meetings. And for example, I'm sure when we get done with this one, we're gonna have another meeting about what our next episode. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, other than just sit here for an hour and a half for recording.
Right.
There's
I mean,
so
if you
many
can,
more
if
things.
you can find a podcast where you can just show up and talk and then leave, cool. Like, but
more power to you.
more power to you. But there's work, man.
Yeah.
And so I can appreciate that for sure. So what's the ultimate goal for Podcast Influence Academy? Like, where do you see that? Where do you want for that? And then we'll talk about later what you see for yourself individually. But for that Podcast Influence Academy.
Yeah. So my current goal is to get 1,000, podcasters in the group where we're helping them grow their podcast.
What's the number you got now?
Right now we have 16.
Okay, so we got some work to do.
We got some work to do.
We got some work to do.
We got that. That's the ultimate.
Yeah.
That's the ambitious
No, man,
goal,
but we're putting that out in the universe
But
right
we're
now.
we're
It's
gonna manifest
happen.
that.
And I can feel you staring through me like 17.
17, 18, 19.
right.
Yeah, we'd be almost there.
Yeah.
No. So you want to get 1,000 people in, and then what's that going to look like?
Just live events. Going back to live events. I mean, as somebody who's hosted so many live events, even during the music days as well, that's where I thrive off of, where I can help other podcasters. I would love to get the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit, like to do a live show
That would be awesome.
at one of our events.
That would be
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
We're trying
blushing,
to
Nick.
we're
Stop
trying
blushing.
no we're trying to plan some lives, and that would be amazing.
We're
we would
in.
love to do that.
We're in.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're in.
yeah,
You
yeah.
make the call. I already got a
You
PA.
host the event, we'll be there.
I got a PA system. I got everything we
get
need.
hooked up. Yeah.
I got everything you need. You just let us know where
Boom.
and what time. We'll be there.
Yeah, because I think that's going to be the future. I think that after all this passes, we're going to see podcasters take it to the streets. I believe
Yes.
that's a great marketing technique and just a great opportunity for podcasters to get outside of the studio and really start building
Yeah.
community like a musician was back in the day.
Right. I thought about that, just like musicians. I was like, what if you
Passing out
went?
stickers.
What if you went? What if you went to a
Street
bar?
teasing.
What if you went to a bar, and instead of people playing, Journey, don't
It's
don't stop
always Journey
believing.
or
Don't
Tennessee
stop
whiskey.
believing.
I'm over Tennessee whiskey and Journey.
Exactly. For the 8,000th time, like, why not have some podcasters set up and just start you have bar conversations all the time, right? Why not have a podcast bar conversation?
Right.
I've thought about that so many
That's
times.
a great concept.
Yes. Republic House in Pasadena. Holla at you, boy.
My local bar down the street is Mankind, and I'm sure
Mankind?
They'd be, yeah,
Mankind.
They'd be
Alright,
down.
see?
They're all local people. It's all people that live in that neighborhood right there.
That's
Just
what's
My
up.
neighborhood.
There you go. Boom.
See, you come
See,
in
see,
here,
I see how the
you come in
ideas-
here, and
we
the
got
energy
this,
is
man.
flowing, like
Let's
the creativity
go.
is flowing. I love
Yes,
it. I love it.
yes.
So I want you to talk to the aspiring podcaster, or maybe the existing podcaster, and tell them how they can become a part of the Podcast Influence Academy.
So it's podinfluence.com.
Okay,
Okay, you go there and
I'll make sure we have a graphic.
Yes, and appreciate that.
Yeah.
So it's a monthly basis, or you can get a discount if it's a yearly commitment.
Okay.
But yeah, we're seeing a lot of people. We have a doctor in there who has been in the group, and I've noticed this, guys, that the people that are like Pod Houston, are represented doing. You guys are rocking it,
Thank
And
you.
then we have other people that are struggle, and then what I've noticed is that the people that invest in themselves, that really take time to pro up and to level up their game, like the insiders, they're the ones succeeding right now. So Janu is crushing it. We have a doctor there who's got his first sponsor because they're in there, they're in the mix, they're brainstorming with other independent podcasters that are serious about podcasting. So they're getting the resources, the latest, trends and news. And because they invested themselves, man, they're doing great things with their podcasts.
that's
So I think
amazing.
there's another huge benefit for being a part of a
And
mastermind.
the market, I believe, is still ripe. Yes, I know there's
is.
I know there's over 1 million podcasts that exist right now. But considering how many people,
which is a baby, because
It's a baby.
I think it's like 3 billion YouTubers,
Right.
or something. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean,
There's-
it's oversaturated, but there's still people starting YouTube channels.
Yeah.
And but YouTube, I mean, podcasting is still a baby in the game.
was there something you were going to add, Josh?
No, I was just going to say
You're muted.
I was just going to say that even though there's that many out there, not all those podcasts are the same.
Correct.
Right.
They're all different. They're not all
And not
like Joe
everybody's
Rogan,
serious.
not
Like,
no, they're
we've
not.
we've known some people who
Yeah,
weren't that
yeah,
serious.
Yeah.
But no, so I think that's awesome. You probably don't want to throw the price at them right now. Let's wait till they go to podinfluence.com.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the best. Okay.
Podinfluence.com.
It's-
Check it
it's-
out. Read it. There's information.
It's affordable. You don't have to be a million.
absolutely.
You don't have to be a millionaire
Yeah, no.
to join the Podcast
Not at
Influence
all.
Academy.
Not at
That's
all.
what's up. So what's next, Ozeal, for you?
Man.
Where do you see yourself 5-10 years from now?
I'm gonna
Ozeal
start a
doing?
new rock band.
Yes.
I'm gonna start.
Hey, we got karaoke on our next segment, so
God.
we might just fix that wheel.
No, actually, so I've thought about maybe getting back into my effort bucket list.
Right.
Is to start a band again. But no, speaking. I love speaking. I was telling this, mentioned this to Nick not too long ago, yesterday, about I love public speaking, and any opportunity I get, once again, I guess because of the musician, the front man in me.
Yeah.
Any opportunity I can get to be able to get on stage and share my love and passion for helping people humanize their expertise, their passion, their leadership through podcasting, through voice,
Yeah.
I would do just that. And speaking, and then hosting events, and then educating and helping independent podcasters.
That's what's
That's-
up,
that's
man.
kind of the
Podfather.
Podfather, baby.
Godfather.
That's the new
The
name.
podcast Dalai Lama.
See,
I love it. I
Reach
love
out
it.
to the chambers of commerce over there on your
So
side.
I mean, let's. I'm a firm believer in the energy you put out into this universe is the energy you receive. So let's put it out there, man. I mean, what size groups we talking about? You're gonna be selling out Toyota Center. What
Yeah.
is it? Reliant? Like, how many people are gonna be
Let's
coming to
go.
see
Yes.
Ozeal?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
It's a
I mean,
big
to
game,
fill up,
man.
yeah, Toyota Center would be nice. huh?
That'd be really nice.
get some Tony Robbins numbers up there.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. We talked about yesterday Gary V. I mean, Gary V. He's killing it, man, and he's changed. That dude, because he can go sell out an entire forum,
Oh, he's a rock star.
He's a rock
I went to
star.
go see him speak.
or
He's
he'll
just-
get on Zoom with like Joe Blow
right.
and sit there and talk to him.
Yeah.
And I've watched that. And I'll be like, and these people, they'll be on Zoom with Gary V. and they start freaking out. They're like, oh my god, it's Gary V. But he's not personal. I get his text messages to my phone, even now. Like I'm a part of his text message group. So the cool thing about what we do, I'm putting myself in the same elbow space as you. Like I'm rubbing elbows with Ozeal. The cool thing about what we do, and the reason I started this podcast from the beginning, is because I wanted to encourage thoughtful, positive conversation. I was tired of hearing negativity on the radio. Everything was about politics and left this and right that. And I just wanted to come and spread some love and good vibes, man, and build a community. We don't have a community to the size of your community, but the Spirit Sniffers is a thing. Like, Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit, we got a group of people that it feels like family. And I've got to get on this mic and I've got to pour my heart and soul out and be honest about myself. And now Naomi and Josh and Chris have the opportunity to do the same thing. It's just, there's nothing like it, man. I love it. Like, I will never tell anybody, don't start a podcast. Like, absolutely start a podcast. 100%. And one thing I wanted to mention, because we talked about it yesterday, you know, you were talking about how, let's say you brought up, you have a doctor who does a podcast. Like, it'd be really nice if he could go rent out a space and say, hey, I got a TED Talk, guys. You guys come pay me X amount of dollars and I'll tell you everything I know about podiatry. But more than likely, that's not going to happen. But you can turn on your phone and plug in a microphone and talk, and all of a sudden you have an audience of people who are listening to you. And so it's great. I love it. I want to do it forever. And I told Ozeal yesterday, the cool thing is, like, my great-great-grandkids will be able to hear my words. So
I mean, podcasting, yeah. I mean, if you think about it,
Yeah.
I mean, what if we had, you know, if Benjamin Franklin or Bruce Lee had a podcast?
You know what I'm saying?
Where we can actually go back and
Frederick
listen.
Douglass. I've been watching his YouTube, that YouTube, not YouTube, it's on Netflix. There's a documentary about, man, yeah, that
some
would
of the
be
brilliant
amazing.
minds. You know,
Yeah.
so what we're doing is documenting through voice where our kids, and after we're gone, they're going to say, look at their body of work. Like, just plug in and listen. And I think, to me, podcasting is timeless. And I think
For sure.
See that.
Benjamin Franklin,
Audio archive.
That's right.
Frederick Douglass, Nick Stevenson. It's all, you know.
There you go. That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, man.
Oh, my goodness, man.
Did you just put yourself with those two?
I was obviously a joke. I'm not.
It was a joke. It was very serious.
Obviously a joke.
Nick has been so hyped up since the
No,
beginning
here's
of
the
this episode.
no, but here's the thing. This is what I did say, and even if it's just a small sliver of the world, my motto is: what if a couple of nobodies from Texas change the world? And if we just change our little sliver, Deer Park, Texas, if we have a conversation with somebody that most of the people in this town couldn't relate to, don't know anything that would make them feel like they could empathize with that person, but they trust us, so we bring in that person and we start having the conversation. Maybe one person in Deer Park has their eyes open to something that they didn't realize that existed or that they needed to know. That's cool. That's us changing our little sliver of the world.
Absolutely.
So that's the cool thing about podcasting.
Are you focused on Deer Park? Is this kind of the target audience?
No, because I would like to be synopsis. Is that the right? No, that's not.
Synonymous.
There you go. I would like to, when people think Deer Park, I want them to say, hey, that's where they record Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast. But we have a national and even global audience already. We have people who listen regularly in France. I think is your family listening in
Holland?
In Holland, yeah. We got some listens from Brazil, Russia. There's 2 listens. I figured that's just Putin and his homeboy. I don't know.
I will take it.
Right? Because Putin's got to listen to make sure it's okay for the rest of the Russians to listen to. Right?
Obviously, it wasn't if there's only 2 listens. So
yeah, exactly. Like Putin's like, we can't have them listen.
Too much freedom. No.
No. So yeah, man, it's great. I love it. There's times I hate it, but I love it. It's
a love-hate relationship.
Yeah,
absolutely. It is, man.
It is. But man, I want everything that you are hoping for, Ozeal, all the goals you're setting for yourself, I want them to come true. Because you're just a good dude, man, and you're paying it forward. And good things come to people who do good for other people, man. So I'm really excited you're here.
Thank you.
Why don't we get an ad from Myriad Mobile, and then we're gonna put Ozeal in the really put him in the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit world. We're gonna do a little bit of Wheel of Spirit. And we're gonna do the tiny wheel. I didn't want to write on my big wheel. You see, we have a big wheel there.
The tiny wheel.
I just love how you say
I
it.
get the tiny wheel.
Tiny wheel. You got one of our biggest guests.
Come on, man. What's
One of the biggest guests, and you're gonna bring out the tiny wheel. Come on, man.
We're only gonna spin it once, okay?
Yeah,
Those I'm trying to save marker ink. Like we're not that profitable. We're not that profitable yet. No, man. So let's get an ad from Myriad Mobile before we get into the tiny wheel of spirit. Hey guys, it's Nick Stevenson again, here to tell you about my friend Brian Wells and his mobile welding and mobile mechanic service, Myriad Mobile. Brian has been welding for over 20 years, and he will let his work speak for itself. Welding repairs, whether they're industrial or residential, wrought iron fencing, he can repair that old rusty fence and repaint it, or he'll even build you a new one. Oh, and in case you missed it, that's right. I also said that Brian offers mobile mechanic services. You need a part changed, your brakes or your oil change? Why not do it from the comfort of your own home? Myriad Mobile will come to you. So whether it's an industrial or residential welding repair, or you need a new fence, or you don't want to drive or have your car towed to the mechanic shop, then call my friend Brian Wells at Myriad Mobile. The number to call is 713-538-6938. That's 713-538-6938. Myriad Mobile, welding and car repair. Tell them that Nick from the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast sent you. Josh Beard loves his bump back.
Dude,
This is his jam.
thing, man.
I love it
You need to
too.
make this your ringtone.
There you go.
Yeah. See?
Okay, so we don't have any special intro from my man Keith, aka your imaging guy over at Fiverr. By the way, I know you probably brought a lot of ears and eyes with you. Anybody starting a podcast and they want voiceover work, you heard our guy. He's the best in the biz. And I sent him a list of things that I wanted at like 10 o'clock at night, and he gives you a 3-day window. I sent it to him at 10 o'clock at night. It was in my inbox when I woke up the next morning. He laid down 6 tracks. He's a beast, and he's the best. His name is Keith, but his username is Your Imaging Guy on Fiverr. Y'all go check him out. All right, so I'm going to bring up the tiny wheel. So do you get the concept of the Wheel of Spirit? Sometimes there's not just one topic we want to talk about. So what we'll do is we'll get a wheel, and we'll spin it, and whatever lands on it,
And we let fate decide.
we let fate decide. So I sent you a list of some of the things that are on my wheel, and I know you got the Bluetooth channel up?
Yes, sir.
All right. I know there's probably a couple things you're hoping don't show up. You know, let me I'm going to screen record this so our audience will be able to see.
Let's see.
So they know that we're not cheating. So let's see what the wheel tells us that we're doing today.
I'm sweating.
Are you sweating? Are you nervous?
I'm so nervous.
All right.
I can always just get up. I'm cool with it.
Spanking your child, yes or no?
Oh, spanking your child.
We're definitely going to do another spin.
Yeah, I heard spanking, and I was like,
I got excited, and then I was like,
spanking.
This is going to be a really fast conversation. Yes, you should spank your kids. Okay. Should we spin the wheel again?
But just not for the hell of it, though.
Right.
Well, obviously not your kids.
Okay. This might actually turn into a conversation. Like I got spanked when I was a kid, and what's funny about it is my mother will tell anybody, like, I probably spanked him too much. I was a good kid. And my mom actually, as I became an adult later in life, she apologized to me. She's like, I spanked you way too much. And really what that said to me is like, yeah, you realize how good I was after my brother was born. Yeah, because, but I feel like it made me it taught me to think about consequences before I do something. And I feel like it worked for me. My kids don't get spanked nearly as much as I do. I don't remember the last time I spanked my kids. I think it has I think it has its place in discipline. But you should never do it when you're angry, and you should never go overboard.
There's a difference between
agreed.
spanking and beating. There's a difference.
Yeah,
there's a and people tend to get that confused.
Right. But I mean, okay, so you know my ethnicity. I have a black mama. So when we say she whooped your ass,
You were screwed. She whooped your ass.
it was a spanking, but it doesn't sound like, it sounds worse if you say they whooped your ass. But it was just a spanking. She wasn't like throwing any left crosses or anything.
Get your ass back in the
Yeah, but I think spanking, if it's done the right way, if it's not overboard, I agree with it.
You're with that.
I don't. Yeah. How about you?
Your children are listening.
Yeah, they better not be listening.
Yeah, this is 18 or older. If you're listening, what are your kids' names again? I'm sorry.
Jackson and Harper.
Jackson and Harper, turn this shit off right now. Go to bed.
They better not be listening. No, they get spankings. I don't think I've ever had to spank my daughter. I really don't think I have.
I can count on like 2 fingers and have a finger left over maybe for Maddie.
Yeah.
Yeah, my girls are so good.
My
Boys are-
son, I can't give him spankings anymore. The last time I tried, he like turned around and laughed at me. And then I wanted to give him a black eye, so I had to leave.
That's how I announced to my father he's never going to spank me again. He smacked me and I just looked at him.
Yep.
And that shit hurt. I'm not going to lie. I was fake. I was like,
Man,
and like on the inside I was like,
I bruised my finger. I was like, God damn.
oh, that, you know what, Ozeal? I've never asked you this. Like, do you have a family? You got kids, a wife? Like, what's
4-year-old.
You got a 4-year-old.
A 4-year-old.
So
Yeah.
are you married or you're
No, not married.
single father?
Yeah, single father.
And I'm telling you, ladies, he's as good looking in
Hey,
person
hey.
as he is.
Ooh, check
You
him
know, I
out.
had a feeling you were single because when I was
Really?
listening to you and Janu, like y'all had a little,
We had a little.
you had a little moment there. You remember?
We had fun.
Yeah,
We had fun.
Janu's a very beautiful young lady.
Yes.
And she's very full of energy.
Does she
I'm
have an
not-
Instagram page?
I'm sure that she
Yeah,
does.
She does.
I'm sure that she does.
I'm sure that she does. But don't get that's Ozeal's future wife, man. Don't. No, I'm just playing. I'm playing. No, okay. So you have a 4-year-old. What's it's a boy or a girl?
Boy.
It's a boy. Okay.
James.
So how do you feel about?
Yeah. Spanking. Well, my father used to spank me, man. He was
Yeah.
a brutal, like, Latino, just
Right.
He thought he was Zorro. Like,
So
he
you
would,
caught.
Flip flops.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, bro.
Ooh, la chancla.
That, like, listen, that's real. That
Yeah.
La chancla's
That's
real.
not even a
So-
joke.
He wore them thick ass belts too.
yeah. So my mom would get so upset too because he literally he would throw the chancla, the shoe, and if he missed, he'll be like, pick it up, bring it back. I missed that one. Go and do it again. And literally, I mean, he gamified the shit. Like he's like,
He gave himself a strike zone. He was
Yeah,
like, that's
like,
just
come
ball
on,
one. That's
man.
ball one. You bring it back. Bring it back.
But I tell you what, even growing up, I mean, I felt like, I don't know if it really, yes, I feel you on the consequences, but it really instilled a lot of fear in me, man,
Did
to
it?
where I wasn't really able to cultivate
Okay.
a really good relationship with him.
Right.
He was brutal. He was pretty brutal with
Yeah.
it, sometimes going overboard. So
That has a lot to do with it too.
You gotta.
How you came up. So you
Yeah.
probably decided when I have a son, it's
Yeah.
not going to be like
So
that.
yes, I don't spank him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. And I'm sure he's going to be just. I know Chris Clark never received one spanking. Now, he was like a hellion as a teenager, but he turned out to be
Hellion
one.
is not even the right word. Like, come on now.
Like, but his mom told me, like, I told my husband when I met him, before we have kids, I will not have kids with you. I will have kids with you, but you're never gonna lay a finger on them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he grew up. And I asked him, "Are you gonna raise your kids the same way?" Because that's a risky proposition, man. But that's pretty much the way he's gone about it. And what it goes to show me is there's no one way to do it.
Yeah.
There really is not
Yeah.
one way. Like you have to know your kids and know how they understand consequences. And I used to be one of those people like, oh, you should just spank your kid more, but that's not my place to tell somebody like what they should do. But so no, it's for me. I definitely did not spank my children as much as I got spanked, and my kids will probably like the spanking in my lineage is probably just fading away. Like maybe they they probably won't spank their kids, which is I don't know. It's a debate. A lot of people like think,
It's a
oh,
heated debate.
that's what's wrong with this generation is. Yeah, I mean, it's okay to not be, like you said, motivated by fear, though. If that makes this generation worse than the last because we're not motivated by fear, well, I mean, I would say that's not a bad thing. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a PE coach for 3 years. It's a little fun fact. PE coach, elementary. And
Coach Ozeal.
Coach Oz is what they
Coach
call him.
Oz? Okay.
Coach Oz.
Hey.
Yeah, just got the
That's
E.
what's
Yeah,
up.
just
I like
Oz.
that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So Coach Oz, and I remember, some of those kids, man. I mean, trust me.
Yeah.
I was like, boy,
I
they should
couldn't do
spank
it, bro.
you, boy. I mean, there was some, because it's just a whole different attitude, different mentality. So
Yeah, and it's somebody else's kid, so like you won't miss them if they die. You're like, like where's your mama at?
like,
No,
where's-
I couldn't do it, man. I told because
Yeah,
my
it's
son
tough.
my son used to go to the principal a lot, and I used to when I'd have a meeting with her, I was like, God bless you, like especially junior high kids.
yeah, and I wouldn't be able to do junior.
That's
high.
yeah.
Not
That's
not
crazy,
not right
crazy
now.
thing.
Yeah, because
now.
they're just
They're got
I
their
think
own selves to figure
it's
out.
a
At
different
junior
breed.
high, you're
Yeah.
like as shitty as you're ever gonna be.
Yeah.
I can
agree
say
with
that because
that.
I was there.
Kids
I was
are
probably
harsh.
my
Yeah.
shittiest at junior high because you're in that
Especially now.
weird in between phase where like you want independence, but you're not finding a healthy way to show that you're ready for it.
There's a
You're-
lot of pressure, like
Yes,
from
absolutely.
all aspects. It's
I will tell you, my son from 7th to 8th grade, though, I was worried about him. He has made such a giant leap because I told him high school is going to be a little bit different. Some people start to mature in high school. Some people, some of them. But yeah, me and my old school bringing up, I was like, I couldn't be a teacher because I would straight up like, go get that switch off the tree. Like, and
Give me that ruler over there.
these days you can't do that. Like, there's people going to jail for spanking their kids. That's why I put the thing on the wheel. Like, that's a heavy debate. Like, is it okay to spank your kids? And I just feel like there's a level that there's a line that if you cross, that's not a good thing. And if you can't do it without crossing that line, then you shouldn't do it at all.
Yeah.
And you would probably agree with that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty. That was probably the most boring topic that was on the list. Do we want to do one more? Let's just do one more. Do you have time for one more?
Let's do it.
When do we
Let's
gotta
do
get
it.
out of
Let's
here?
do
Let's do
two
it.
more.
All right.
I don't like those odds.
Two more.
She's so scared of karaoke or freestyle.
I hope we get to this one, so then we have to do another one just so we can break up.
Okay, I don't want to lock up my phone to where it won't work anymore.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Hold on. All right, we're good.
Let's go.
You ready?
We're
All
on.
right, let's see what we get. Choose your superpower. So boring.
No, let's do another one. Let's do another one. I vote for another one. Yeah, voting for
I'm
another
sorry, I
one.
accidentally hit it.
Oh, what was it?
You accidentally.
Podcast karaoke. Woo! Who's gonna sing?
Let's go.
It's got to be Ozeal, right?
I hate y'all.
Hang on. Wait. It's already decided. Were you in a band?
Nope.
I was not in a band. So I think the only two people that were ever in a band should do the
Whoa.
podcast.
All right, let's go with
karaoke.
best/worst pickup lines.
Oh, now you want to change it?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Oh,
go with that
no. Come on, Nick.
I don't want to make
You can
anybody
sing
uncomfortable.
Wonderwall.
You know I will sing.
Just do Wonderwall.
I'm
Go
a
ahead.
ham, but this is not about me. If my guest is not comfortable,
Wait, real quick. I'm curious about the superpower because you were really passionate about the superpower.
okay.
I'm curious.
Let's
real
know.
quick.
What's your
I
superpower?
don't know what it would be. There's just so many options.
Instagram model.
Instagram. Hey.
Okay.
Hey.
No.
For me,
No.
it's a no-brainer. It's either between being able to fly or being invisible.
I think I'd like the Wolverine powers where you just heal.
You heal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
That's
a
then
good one.
It would just be-
I'll be just
That's
doing
a good one.
everything.
But then you'd be alive forever. Think about all the stupid people you'd have to deal with. Like,
I would like to be alive forever. A lot of people say that like that would be a curse. I would know everything about everything.
that's true.
And that would be fun.
But as the generations get just dumber and dumber and like
You seen that like
really wanna be
idiocracy?
around.
we get
As
to
it becomes a
idiocracy.
documentary instead of a comedy.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, this is what I want to know. Because Ozeal's a single guy. So this pickup lines.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh man.
let me
The
okay.
worst.
We're talking about the
Best.
best and the worst. I want you to give me like right now, if you walk okay, let's start with back in the day when you didn't have no game. What was your worst pickup line or the worst way you would try to pick up girls?
Oh my God.
And please don't say girl, say.
Say girl, say.
Say.
Say,
little
girl,
mama.
what's your name be like?
I used to use, believe it or not, I used to use breakdancing as a way to attract women. Yeah.
He just walks up. He don't even say anything.
Hey,
He's
hey
just
girl,
like,
what's up? Yeah, what's up? Yeah.
All right, I'd be like,
He's just
okay,
holding the phone and just.
Yeah.
You could like
That's
perform
what's
like
up.
like the birds, you know, they gotta perform, they do the little like fluff their
Yeah.
feathers.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I don't know
It
if I
really
had
worked.
a pickup line, but I had a strategy.
Okay.
There's a group of women.
Group. It had to be a group.
Time out.
Group.
He's vicious with it.
This is not how I met my wife. I just want to say this.
That's a good. That's a
But
good start.
thank you. If there was a group of young ladies, let's say we're at a bar or something, you always talk to the least attractive one first. Always.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure I'm not
All right.
smoking.
Always talk to the least attractive one first. And this works. It depends on what your end game is. If you're looking for like a relationship, obviously you don't want to use deceit and dishonesty. You want to just walk up to a woman and introduce yourself and say, but if your end game is what your end game is when you're a single guy and you're playing the field, whatever, you always talk to the least attractive one first. And this is why. Because the really attractive one amongst them, she knows that she's prettier than that girl you're talking to. And she's thinking to herself, why the fuck is he talking to her?
It becomes a straight up competition.
And she is going to all of a sudden do everything she can to get your attention, when if you had gone straight to her, she probably would have been like, fuck off.
This is so true. So true.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It's a thing. But here's the worst pickup line I've ever heard. Are you ready? Don't record this for a sound drop.
No, I'm not.
Okay. It's one of the worst pickup lines I've ever heard, and I actually heard a dude say this. Girl, your daddy must be a terrorist because you the bomb.
Bruh.
Okay.
Wow.
You're thicker than cold peanut butter.
Thicker.
That's really thick if you think about it.
Or are you from Tennessee? Because you're the 10 IC.
Is that a good or a bad one?
That's just
See,
corn. That's just bad and all
I
that.
like.
but here's if it's bad. If it's bad, but it's funny, because I used one, and I'm going to tell you. Go ahead. I'm going to let you go first. Because I used one that's terrible, but it made the
It
girl
worked?
laugh, and
Okay.
it worked.
Hey.
My husband is all about the dad jokes before he was ever a dad. And man, I tell you what, he made me fall in love with him over text messaging.
Really?
Yes, I was with another guy, and
Homewrecker.
It wasn't working out anyways. It was whatever.
Wow.
We were not serious, so it's cool. And I kind of just wrote him off. And
Right.
a couple weeks later, my roommate texted him. She was like, "Hey, it's her birthday. Text her now." And man,
Right.
I fell right for that. But he would just have the dumbest jokes. Oh, I've been doing that since the 80s. And I'm like, 48? It's just dumb. But yeah.
All right.
That pickup line, girl, is that space pants you're wearing? Because that ass is out of this world.
Yeah.
Tell me he used that. Tell me he used that.
Hey,
I don't think so, but
Okay, here's one. I swear to God, this
That's
worked.
what got her. Right there.
I'm telling you, this
As
worked.
a matter of fact, I am wearing space pants. Thank you.
these are the
walked
new
up-
TikTok leggings, yes?
I walked up. I did not speak to the least attractive woman at this table.
Uh-oh.
They were all fairly attractive. So I just walked up. I was going for the top of the ladder. I walk up and I said, "Excuse me, ma'am. I just have a question. If I accidentally walked through here and bumped into your vagina, would it make you mad, or would you just say fuck it?"
Bruh.
Really?
Hey.
That'll get you in trouble now, Nick. That's sexual assault.
Yeah, that would have
Done.
worked.
Maybe.
In 2021.
As a matter of fact, sir, I'm
Not
going to
in
go ahead and
2021.
You just admitted on
Excuse me? Yeah.
Excuse me?
Or would you just say fuck it? And I was fully expecting to get slapped in the face because it was kind of a dare. But she laughed. And I was like, ah. And what happened after that's not important.
How was her laugh? How was her laugh, Nick? Was it
It
nervous?
doesn't matter.
What happened after that doesn't matter. But yeah. No, I'm just worried. I mean, so are you searching, Mr. Ozeal? Like, are you too focused on your career
I'm
right
just
now?
focused right now.
That's
man.
good.
Yeah, just
That's
focused,
good.
right? Although, I was talking to a friend of mine. Dating right now in 2021 is just,
It's weird.
it's not. I mean, if you got somebody.
Not that I know because I
like,
don't date in 2021. But I was single. I was single 5 years ago.
This is not a good time to like date. I mean, it's just, I
Yeah.
just, everything is so, swipe left, swipe right.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine who's been struggling with his dating he's dating online, and everything is through text messages. People are, it's just, there's no communication anymore.
Yeah.
So it's a struggle now. Like I feel
It
like
is.
I miss like dating in the 90s where it was like, hey girl, what's up? I'm
Right.
interested in you. Can
Exactly.
Can we go
Let's
out
go get
and
some
do something?
barbecue and get
Exactly.
busy.
Just like that. Just like that. But
Yeah.
now it's like, nah, like
So,
it's
Ozeal,
besides
like,
that.
figurative, like, let's just throw a scenario out there.
Yeah, man.
Figuratively. If somebody, like, paid for you to go on a date with another young lady,
I like where we're going, Nick.
it's
I
like
this.
somebody,
Oh.
like, you didn't have to pay anything, and there's
Yeah.
no commitment. You're just having dinner with a nice young lady, and that's all you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how would that sound to you? Is that something you would do? There's no commitment. You're just having dinner,
No commitment.
and you
No
don't have to
commitment.
pay. It's free. It's a free dinner with somebody that hopefully you have a nice time with.
Man, I would consider it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would.
Do we
I
get to
would
pick her
consider it.
Are you familiar with the little thing called 2 Peas in a Podcast? Because
Yeah, buddy.
2 Peas in a Podcast is an episode I've been trying to do on this podcast forever. And I get commitments from people who say they're going to do it. Basically, this is what we want to do. We want to have a bachelor like yourself. And we do like the old school 90s dating game, man. You talk to a couple ladies, they ask you questions, you ask them questions, and based on their answers, you pick one lady to go on a date with, and we send you.
I think he's
we
into it, Nick.
We pay for the check. Hey, we
he's
write the
into
check. We send you to the restaurant. All you got to do is go on the date and come back and tell us how it went. That is all of the commitment.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
You in? You're not gonna commit right this second?
He's gonna think about it.
I'm gonna think about that. I'm gonna think
Please
about
think
that.
about
Yeah,
it and
I'm
get
gonna
back
think
to
about
me.
it.
Please
Yes,
think
yes.
because I mean you already. Let's keep it real. Based on everything, I never asked you how old you are, but based on the conversations, I'm assuming we're probably around the same age. You want to tell us how old you are?
42.
42. Okay, and I'm pretty sure you got the bald and bearded thing going
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
The women love that, man.
Yeah.
I'm just.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put his picture on our Facebook.
Oh,
page.
he is all on
Yeah.
YouTube right now.
and we're just gonna be like, hey, does this guy? Would you want to go on a date and see what the feedback is? And then we're gonna be like, okay,
Ozeal,
look,
I'm gonna vet
These
these
people
young
wanna see
ladies
you.
very, 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 very thoroughly. Mostly because it's you. I'm going to vet them. Like we're not gonna send you out with anybody crazy. All we want you to do is have dinner and tell us how it went. It's all we want. And we're gonna send you on that dinner for free. Think about it. Get back to me, man.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
You don't have to commit right here on the radio or on the show. I just think about it. Thank you so much for being here, man. I hope you had a good time.
Yes.
We didn't get a freestyle out of you this time. Maybe next
No
time.
freestyle, man. I know. I dodged the bullet. She's like,
She saw that on the wheel. She's like, I'm not freestyling.
I'm not freestyling. That would have been fun.
I am a
It
little.
would have been.
Shoot.
I asked him to bring a couple bars just in case. I don't know if he actually brought them, but thank you so much for being here, man. It means the
was
world to
good.
me
It was
that you
good
showed
times.
up all the way from Sugarland, man. We're gonna send you a T-shirt. We're gonna send you some merch. We're gonna send you all the good stuff, man.
All the swag.
all the
all
swag.
the things.
For sure. All right, so thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, if you're on the YouTube channel, thank you. See, this is why I love having a team.
Naomi with the clutch.
Yeah.
I got y'all's
Came
back.
through in the clutch, and I should have put. See, man, I'm still a student. All right, let's give away some money real quick. Thank you for Naomi for reminding me, and we
You're
want
welcome.
and we want to thank Larry Showalter of L&M Roofing for sponsoring our giveaways. He's a great guy. His surgery was successful. He mentioned to me, and I hope it's okay that I'm mentioning this, Larry, that he came back 100% cancer free.
Woo woo.
Like, let's give it up for that. Yeah. Larry is like the mattress Mac of Deer Park.
Okay.
So he, if I had to describe him in one word, he's such a giving guy. He runs a very successful roofing business. He sponsors all the baseball teams, and he came up to us. He saw Stephen Terry got the naming rights to our studio. He said, "I want that." I said, "I can't." Steven's been listening to us from the beginning, man. I'll try to find some way to get you in there. And he said, "Well, let's give some money to the community, man." So he donated the money for the giveaways, and every week we give away $100 on the YouTube channel. So if you're listening right now, and maybe you want to get some free cash, who doesn't like free money? Then you guys go to the YouTube channel. It's just search Smells Like Middle Age Spirit Podcast. Hit subscribe every Sunday at 7:30. We stream the show and we're in the live chat having a good time, and you'll get a chance to win some money. So we're giving away $100 today, thanks to Larry at L&M Roofing. And let's see. Between 1 and 10 went good yesterday. We did the 6th caller.
I'm so glad it went great, Nick.
It went great.
I'm so glad that you decided to go 1 to 10 instead of 1 to 5.
So,
Appreciate it.
Ozeal, give me a number between 1 and 5.
Wow.
I'm sorry, 1 and 10.
1 and 10. 7.
All right, let's go with 7. Lucky number 7. The 7th caller to call 832-835-3141 with the code word. Let's go with Pod Houston. Let's go with Podfather. I like
Podfather,
that.
definitely.
Call in with the code word Podfather. We're going to give you a $100 Visa gift card. Thanks to Larry Showalter at L&M Roofing. So, 6th caller, Podfather.
7th caller.
Sorry, 7th caller, Podfather.
This is why I'm here, guys.
Thank you so
Doing
much.
great. You're earning your keep
7th
today,
caller
Naomi.
to call 832-835-3141 is going to get a $100 Visa gift card. Thank you for reminding me, Naomi. All right, Ozeal, thank you for being here. Guys, thank you for listening. If you're on the listening side and you want to check out the video and see Mr. Ozeal's handsome face, ladies, 2 P's in the podcast, go over to the YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Hit the like on the video. But you can subscribe on any of our podcast platforms except for Pandora. We could do a whole episode on that, Ozeal. I'm gonna talk to you about Pandora actually when we're done because I have some questions about that. But we're everywhere but Pandora because F them. But anyway, but thank you guys so much for listening. I'm gonna get us out of here for the best producer in podcasting, Josh Beard, for my very special guest, Ozeal DeBastos. My name is Nick Stevenson.
And I'm Naomi Richardson, and we're gonna catch you next time.
You've been listening to the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast. For more show content, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget to visit SpiritSwagStore.com for everything you need to rep your favorite podcast in style.